it's been a crazy decade for me. It's been a crazy 10 years. Hi guys, welcome back to Earth to Rosita. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded, but I really wanted to upload something since it's coming toward the end of the year, and I kind of wanted to just make a video about 10 things I've learned in the last 10 years. And I feel kind of weird saying 10 years because some of these lessons weren't actually learned in 2009. They were learned in the year after, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I was hoping to list all of these things in a way that was 10 lessons learned in 10 years. But I've listed 13 things here so far, and it's all in my handwriting. How cool is that? God, I love this fucking this phone, the Note 9, has been such a godsend for me because I love handwriting things, and I always bought journals and stuff, and I just thought, I'm always on my phone. So now whenever I get the urge to write something with my hands instead of type it with a keyboard, because I'm kind of old-fashioned that way, I can handwrite stuff. So I can handwrite people letters now and send it to them virtually. So gotta love advancements to technology, right? Anyways, okay, so I've listed 13 things here, and this is going to be a long video, just letting you guys know that now. So, it's essentially going to be kind of sort of podcasty, I'm hoping, but I only have 20 minutes or something on this, and I don't know where my hard drive is, and now I'm rambling, so I'm wasting time instead of getting to the point, and I apologize. I'm a rambly person, okay? I'm doing it again. I can't stop myself. I'm sorry. Okay, so I have to go through this list to see, what is worthy of sharing with you guys, and what I can, and some of these things I noticed that I can integrate together, and some I'll just come up with on the spot. So just give me a minute. Okay, so the first two things I wrote about were about relationships and friendships and such, and so on and so forth. So if there's one thing I've learned, both myself in the hard way, and if there's something that I've taught people, I'm sure, is that, and something I've learned from relationships. Okay, so I can't tell you the amount of times I've had friends that kind of had a very childish idea of friendships, and I suppose I was kind of guilty of this too, in a couple of ways, and just kind of being dumb and guilt-tripping people into thinking that friendship is all or nothing. So you either spend time with me all of the time, or make the effort, or you don't. That kind of mentality. And I think that we've all been guilty of this, especially, coming out of high school, where we're so used to seeing our friends all of the time and interacting with them and talking to them every day, to going out into the world and, going out into the world and really trying to figure our own lives out to the point where we can't maintain those relationships the same way that we used to, you know? And some people honestly don't catch on to that ever. They always think that, like, friendship, like, if you care about somebody, you must interact with them always. And I can tell you that that's a load of crap, because we're going through so much of our own stuff all of the time, and sometimes, like, most of us, we don't have the energy or the time or, like, the mental space to catch up with people, whether it's via texting or and I know, like, some of you might not agree, and that's fine, but there are people like myself that legitimately, we're on our own journey, and sometimes, like, most of us, we lose touch with our friends. There are days, like, there are moments, there are times when my best friend of over 15 years at least, and I don't go weeks, like, we go weeks without talking to each other, that kind of thing. It just, that's just the reality, you know? It's not like that, that's reality. It's the car, sorry guys. It's not that we don't care about the people that we still, like, keep on our social media and stuff like that. It's just that we're on our own journey. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to really, like, talk about. So if you're my friend, like, if I've kept you close to me in some way, like through my social media and stuff like that, but I don't talk to you, you know, it's not an all or nothing situation where you have to be dramatic about it and say, well, they don't make an effort to talk to me anymore, so I should just cut them out. Sometimes people change, sometimes people grow, and you just fade out of each other's lives, and it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you had a big fight and there was some conflict and drama. It just means that, you know, we grew and we had this amount of years or this amount of months together, and now we're on a different path. And it's just as simple as that. There's no hate. There's no, like, there shouldn't be any resentment, you know, for people progressing in a different way. And I don't know if this, you know what, I'm going to list this as number 2, because this is a completely separate thing that I've learned the hard way. And it was a very bitter lesson for me, especially in 2017. Not everybody is your friend, so there are people that will pretend to be your friend and instead turn around and make up lies about you, like, talk about you as though you're the bad guy, or make up gossip about you, or they don't even, like, sometimes some people don't even have to, you know, stoop to that level of gossiping. Some of them, in their minds, they're thinking that they don't want you to succeed, and you need to be cautious of that. And, like, I know that makes it even more hard to figure out which person in your life is truly a friend that truly wants the best for you and truly supports you. Because you can't read people's minds unless you're psychic. Me. It gets hard, but just know that there are people that do portray themselves as your friend, but instead their energy is just hoping for your failure. And that kind of person does exist, because I've had it before. So just be careful that just know that not everybody is your friend, even if they have known you for years, even if they have had the most amazing memories with you. Some people are rooting for you to fail. So don't trust too easily, and also don't ever tell people your plans for the future. So I guess number 3 and 4 I can integrate together. So that's just this is point number 3 that I'm going on to. Keeping yourself comfortable is what's wrong with the world. Learn facts yourself and don't follow the crowd. So this is something that I've learned so much firsthand throughout the last 2 years. And it's been one of the best decisions I've made to actually go out there and research things myself and not be a follower. And it started with I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned is veganism. Everybody always wants to portray the vegans as the crazy, what do you call it? Extreme people. But in reality, we just, we took ourselves out of our comfort zones, and what we found was something as simple as we have been lied to, cows aren't like the humane slaughter lie. The things that we do to animals is just unjustifiable. If animals had a religion, we would be the devil. We would be Satan to them. If you just research how much horrible things we do to animals, not just for food, not just I'm not talking just about factory farming and hunting without necessity, without essential necessity, when there's a store next to you or something. We exploit animals in so many different ways. We do animal testing, we do just horrible things to them in zoos. We literally we've created factories and we've bred them into existence just to slaughter them. We've essentially played God in the worst way possible. We've literally convinced ourselves that everything that we do to animals is fine. And it's just the most ridiculous thing. Sorry, I'm going off on a vegan tangent. Anyway, the main point is learn to think objectively and outside of yourself and not follow the crowd, Think for yourself. Don't be a follower. Don't let people do the thinking for you. Sit with yourself, meditate on things that you've learned, and ask yourself seriously, do you want to do the things that everybody else in this world is doing? Or do you want to do it because you genuinely, deeply, spiritually enjoy it? I'm kind of afraid of the answer some of you might give if you guys decide to comment down below. But, because some people genuinely have convinced themselves that they enjoy partaking in, horrible acts of the world. And it's just how do you do it? I don't, it must be a gift, huh? Okay, so point number 4. I'm going to skip over a couple of these because they were all just repeating the same thing that I just said. Travel wherever it is you can. So travel, even if it's like your own state or your own country, even if you can't afford to, even if you can't afford to go to like the States or an Asian country or the UK or, like any of those countries, anywhere outside of the country that you are, basically. Travel in your own country, travel in your own little state. Be a tourist in your own little areas. I did this back in 2013, and oh my goodness. I've always been a traveler. I started off traveling, like I wasn't even born in Australia. I was born in Iran, and then we went to Turkey, and then we got here, and this year it was just like, 2017, I also went to Vanuatu, and this year I went to 4 different countries. I went to America, I went to Malaysia, I went to Thailand and Indonesia. And I'm not planning to stop. Next year I'm going to like Thailand again, and Japan, and a surprise visit country to a place that I can't say here because it's tied to a secret. Okay. And India. I'm hoping to go to India next year, but I don't know at this point. Travel wherever it is that you can, even if it's not too far away from you. It really does like show you. Like it's so much fun. It's so much fun that to just like drive around or see all of these places, all these suburbs within your own state that you haven't seen. Some of my best memories in my life are just like being here and traveling, traveling through and around Sydney. And that's crazy. Like Sydney, you'd never think that somewhere as kind of like average as Sydney has so much like variety in itself. Like, of course, it doesn't compare to like a Bali or Bangkok or a small island like Vanuatu. But, it shows you some like amazing aspects to your own state that you live in. So travel as much as you can, as much as you can afford. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm up to point number 5. So go to events that you never thought that you would go to. So this, like, events, I mean like spiritual events, gaming events. Take a course and learn a new language or something. Or I know that you can probably do that by yourself, but some people enjoy doing that in a social setting, or do something that is just like that you thought that you would, like, go to an event that you thought that you would never go to, like even if it's a crafting event or something, or taking like a short course in photography or something that might be useful for you in the future. I remember I used to, because if you guys didn't know, I'm actually a bit of a tech geek. I've forgotten a lot of the things that I've learned about technology, but I'm sure that I can remember it if I was put in a situation to remember it again. I used to go to gaming events, and I did a course in like information technology, and I learned a little bit about computers and how to build a computer of my own. I'm not sure I can do it now, but I think that if I just researched it enough, I'd understand the terminology and stuff like that. So challenge yourself, do go to events that you thought you'd never go to, and do courses that you never thought that you'd be drawn to. Number 6, go to music festivals and events. This is vital. Like, this is like an essential part to spiritual growth. No matter how old you are, no matter, like, in this decade, I've gone to so many gigs and concerts, and it was always usually like A Day to Remember, or The Used, or I think it was The Used. It was mostly like that genre of music, but they were magical moments. I also went to AFI, and I went to a Hearts gig, and what else? Oh, and Above and Beyond. Oh my god, I broke into the 2014 New Year at a concert to Above and Beyond, and let me tell you, it was magical. There was like streamers coming down, and the song A Blue Sky Action playing into the new year. Some of my best memories in life are going to concerts. Yeah, hands down. So you have to do it within, like, if you just like graduated from like college and stuff. No, not college. If you just graduated from high school and you are just like entering to 2020, you have to do all of these things. Okay, you just have to. Otherwise, I don't think that you've lived. Point number 7, take a lot of photos. Okay, I've taken a lot of photos, but there are memories that I have not documented through a little phone camera, or I've lost them, and I regret it. I wish that I didn't, like, I wish that I took photos. I took more photos instead of just living in the moment, especially in 2013. Because I wasn't really into photography as much as I am now. I was more like live in the moment kind of gal back in like 5 years ago. But I regret it because, like, those memories are just in my head now. They're not, I can't revisit them in a photo. And that sucks, because some of the people in my life that were in my life back in 2013 are no longer, and probably will never be in my life anymore, ever again. And there's nothing that I really have that, you know, helps me remember them, except the stories in my head and the flashbacks. And that's sad. So point number 8. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and be the bad guy. Okay, this could be a little bit confusing, and I only have like 8 minutes to do 2 more. But there have been situations in the past where I have in fact been the person who was toxic. I've been somebody that cheats with other men. I've been somebody that kind of like was a bit of an asshole to somebody that got abused, you know? And I'm not proud of it, but I think that these parts of ourselves are essential to like I've done a lot worse as well that I don't want to say. But those examples are all I'm going to leave you with. Being the bad guy and being the one who is toxic shows you it shows you that your the capacities that we all are able to tune into. and it shows you the not so nice parts about yourself, but it shows you in a way that you then can decide if this is who you want to be for always, or if this is just like something that you did to hurt other people or another person, and you never want to go through that again, or you never want to put somebody else through that again. So yeah, I was a bit of an asshole to some people in the past. But I don't regret any of it, because it really did show me like who I want to be. And I think that's important, because if you're consciously, like if you're actively and consciously going out there to hurt people, so there's no like excuse, you weren't tricked into it, or you just didn't know any better, you knew better, but you did it anyway. It shows you who you really are. It shows you if you want to go down the route where you call yourself out and you realize that you've made a mistake and you want to make up for it, or if you want to continue being the asshole. It shows you who you really are. Number 9. Explore yourself sexually but responsibly. Okay. This is, like, I say this because I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of a taboo thing to think about and talk about, but, back when I'm not even gonna say when, but I had a wild girl phase, and it was fun, but it also taught me to be, like, the importance of being responsible and stuff. And I only have 4 minutes, so I have to hurry this up. So yeah, explore yourself, whether it's with multiple people, or one person. It doesn't really matter. It shows you, like, what you want out of relationships, I think. More than you really understand. And maybe it doesn't really make sense because I can't really explain it too much because I'm running out of time. But if you wanted me to talk more about this, then give me a like, and I will. Because I wanted to actually touch on my viewpoint of sex, and sex in this society, and like sex and how it's viewed in our culture. And how it's like, it's just toxic now. So the last one, number 10, is a little bit personal. So, it's about love and my experience with love. As some of you might know, I've never been the relationship type, and I don't think that I ever will be the relationship type. But I think that there are some loves out there that it really doesn't compare to anything else you'll ever feel, no matter who you meet, what journey, no matter how insane it is, you go through. There's always that one that, like, takes the cake. That, like, there's always that one person that, like, seems to override everybody else. And I don't know, maybe I just haven't experienced, like, maybe I haven't found somebody that can override it, so I don't know if it exists. But it just feels like, you know, it's been like over 7 years, or no, it's actually been like, yeah, nearly 10 years since I've had that feeling where you just feel so compatible with someone to the point where, you know, like, you can understand each other without even talking, or I mean, without even explaining yourself too much. There really does seem to be something to young love that you can't ever find anywhere else, or in anybody else, no matter how much you look or what other experiences you have. And I've had like a couple of different experiences since the first time I truly fell in love with somebody. And it's always like, I think that this stands out. Like, okay, you know what? I think that the moral of this is, I hope that you fall into a summer love kind of deal. Because summer loves, there's something about them that cannot ever be replaced by anything. Yeah. That's my 10 years, and that's what I've learned in my 10 years. I think that there's a lot more that I've learned in the last 10 years, but those things have been, like, those 10 things have been the most valuable to me, I think. Putting myself out of my comfort zone, going to all of these events, traveling around, losing people, understanding that some people need to earn your trust and some people are not your friend. Summer love cannot be overridden by anything else. That kind of thing. Like, it's been a crazy decade for me. It's been a crazy 10 years. I've gone through so much that I probably will never post about anywhere. And some things that you guys already know about. But yeah, I hope that this list of 10 things was somewhat useful to maybe somebody younger than myself that's just going out into the world after they graduated high school and stuff like that. I don't think that it would be, because it's so subjective. My life is so subjective. Everybody's life is so subjective. But I think that maybe, hopefully, you'll take something out of it. The next video I'm going to make is probably 10, my New Year's resolutions. And that will be posted in the new year, not this year. Oh my god, this year, this decade's about to end, y'all. Can you believe it? I can't. In a couple of days, nonetheless. In like 4 days, it's over. We're going into 2020. I feel very emotional about that. Because it was only like 2010 that I graduated from high school. And it just feels like a new era. Because in 2011, because of all the memories that I had after I graduated high school, and now it feels like I wonder if I can top those memories off with this new 10 years later. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video about it in 10 years and let you know. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this long-ass video. Like, subscribe, if you wanted me to talk about the thing that I mentioned earlier that I've forgotten about already. Subscribe, leave me a comment with 10 things you learned this decade. 10 things you learned in the last 10 years of your life. Hope you guys have a great new year. And stay safe and reconnect with nature and find the balance that is within you always. I cannot emphasize how important balance is. The yin and yang, feminine, masculine, that sort of thing. Okay.